Do you ever catch yourself asking, why do they get all the leads? Or how come I can't get the Glengarry leads? Or how come that agent gets all the good leads and I get the piss poor leads? You ever ask yourself that? If you have, and I have too, so don't feel bad if you have. I used to ask that. And there's one thing that I did, one technique that I made, or one adjustment that I made, and you'll be amazed, it has nothing to do with the leads. But I did this one little adjustment and it changed the course of my career. Like, it literally turned everything in my favor. I became the person who quote unquote got the Glengarry leads. And if that's what you want and that's what you're interested in, then this video is for you. Welcome back. My name is Daniel. I'm the host of Sales Remastered. This channel is dedicated towards mortgage loan officers, those who work in real estate sales. But this video happens to apply to any sales environment, because any sales environment survives off of leads, right? Even if your company doesn't even generate leads, somehow, some way, there's got to be some sort of lead gen or some sort of sales origination in order to keep that company's growth, in order to create what's called revenue. And revenue is a bloodstream of a business. And so why I think this is appropriate is because it is somewhat time sensitive. It does apply to the market today, because that adjustment that I'm talking about, I'm going to tell you what I did, and it has, again, nothing to do with the leads. But the reason why I'm concerned is because when I had that mindset, what happened was I would, when I was younger, I was about maybe 10, 15 years younger than I am now. And what I was doing was ultimately looking for the greener side, right? I was always assuming that some team was being favorite or being played the favorite. There was one loan officer, one salesman on the floor who was, the teacher's pet or the sales manager's pet. And that pet got all the love. They got all the exceptions. They got all the best leads. They got the hot leads. They got the big commission leads. And I used to get so mad at that. I used to get so mad and be like, man, fuck this. It's like they don't want me to win. And then when I finally do get something, they're trying to fight me from even completing the sale. It just felt like nothing but resistance. And it was nonstop. As a matter of fact, it was really bad for my health. I ended up gaining a lot of weight. Like, I started getting really emotional and pissed and upset. Like, not just upset at work, but literally upset outside of work too. Like, everything would just bother me. And it would get to a point where sometimes I just want to go inside the car, right, and just fucking either toke one or just scream my head off. And it was because I couldn't, it was like I wasn't getting anywhere. And so this is what happened. And if that's ever happened to you, or if you've ever felt that way, then listen up, because this is for you. And so one thing that I did was, I met with some of the top producers in the area, and I tried to change my view, my perspective, my rhythm, if you will. Not my view necessarily, because you can't do that right away, right? It takes some time to change your POV, your point of view. And it takes persistence, it takes consistency, it takes discipline. It's much like going to the gym. Right, I'm just getting back to the gym after the holidays, and it just, it's that grind. But when you understand that everything, well, most things that are worth trying for are hard at the beginning, meaning it's not gonna come easy, right? There's gonna be some sort of grind in order to attain it. It's not like you can get a Ferrari easily, right? And I say that Ferrari because Ferrari just rolled by, but it's not like those just come super easy. And so you have to grind, you have to work hard. But what is the hardest is just to get it started, just to get the momentum going. And so when I teach you this technique, understand that it may not happen or it may not work right away. As a matter of fact, everything that I share with you on here, most of it will not work right away. It does take some sort of discipline. It takes some sort of, repetition, and you have to believe inside the process. And the only way you're going to do that is if you make this small adjustment that just so happened to help me get out of the mindset of how come they get all the good leads, how come they get all the Glengarry leads. And what I did is I looked in the mirror and I said this. I said, stop your fucking bitching. You create your own destiny. You make your own destiny. You're putting the excuses in front of you. You're the one that's accepting that. You're the one that put yourself in the fucking position to not get the Glengarry leads anyway. So if I want the same results as that teacher's pet or that favorite LO or that favorite salesman that gets all the love, then what I need to do is figure out a way to beat the shit out of that motherfucker. Now, I'm not talking about physically. Please don't touch that man. Please don't touch that lady. What I'm talking about is look at it, use it as fire. I used it as fire. I looked at myself in the mirror. I said, you know what? You're fucking better than that person. And this is how. You're going to study what they do, take actions on what they did, and mirror the work ethic, mirror the mindset, mirror the fucking motivation, the discipline, everything that person is doing to earn their position. I'm gonna fucking do it better. Now here's the thing though, some of them weren't workhorses, some of them were fucking entitled, right? And so instead of mirror their half-ass work, because those top producers, sometimes they do take 2-hour lunches, and I don't want you to mirror that shit. I want you to stay focused. Don't look at, you know, them taking 2-hour lunch or them never working on a Friday as to, oh, I gotta mirror that shit. I think you know better than that. You gotta take some fucking common sense. Take some sense and make a nickel of it. Get it? So when you understand how to get into their position, what happens is you start studying, well, how the fuck did they get there? And this is really what unfolds, right? This is what you don't see. And what you don't see are the years or the time or the month or the fucking grind that they actually put in. You don't see that they don't get fucking Glengarry leads. They don't get the special treatment. What they do is they actually worked and did the things that other salespersons just didn't want to do. So maybe they came in earlier, or they stayed later, or they worked the weekends, or they did outbounds. They actually did follow-up calls, right? They took the leads, but they just did a better job at fucking assessing and making a sale because their mind was right. Well, why was their mind right? Was their mindset ever like how ours were at that time? Where we're just like, man, fuck this fucking person. They're just a favorite. How come they always get the good leads? Right? And really, what we're doing is we're just making an excuse because our mindset is in such a dark place that we are blind to the fact. We are blind to accept, and we are not humble enough to accept that maybe that person just works smarter. Maybe that person doesn't seem or appear like they're working hard because they've already put the fucking hard work in. Or maybe they don't appear to be working hard because I'm never here to fucking see them at work because I'm too busy finding an excuse and pointing blame. We don't have the empathy to say, hey, maybe that person's working their schedule right and they're being more efficient than I am. And so where this comes as to a problem is because we just can't figure it out. And because we can't figure it out, or we're not willing to accept the truth as to maybe they're just putting in the work and they're doing it smarter, maybe I should ask them, or maybe I should be humble enough to reach out and say, hey man, good fucking job. But what happens is sometimes when we're in that dark state, you know what gets to us? Pride. You know what gets to us? Oh shit. I got fog window. Anyway, you know what gets to us? Pride. You know what gets to us? Fucking humility. That's what the fuck gets to us, right? Like we're just ashamed to even ask. And so I don't want to lose you, but here's the point is when we find ourselves in that state, if we are ever in the state, and I'm not just talking about Glengarry leads or fucking giving favorite, you know, giving the magic leads, whatever you want to call it. My point is this, is that I'm speaking from experience because as you may already know, I lead the #1 team on a national size scale company. I work with one of the, we're actually the third largest privately held mortgage company. We're a multi-billion-dollar retail platform. And amongst, it's over 150 teams, about 150 to 175 teams all across the nation. I am fortunate enough to hustle and grind along the side of the #1 team. That's my team. I manage a team. And because we did so great last year, like we were literally the top team for 10 months out of the entire year. As a matter of fact, of all the sales agents, and I think there's like 2,000 of them, the top 3 are from my team, right? And so these are people that I rub shoulders with every single day. I'm in the trenches with every single day. And what happens is the entire atmosphere, our sales floor believes that the reason why they're winning is because I'm their favorite. I'm the VP's favorite. So I get the magic leads. That's what they called it. They called it magic leads. Or they think that those agents or any particular agents, they don't even need to be an agent on my team. Just happens to be most of them are on my teams because most of my agents are the fucking best. They're beasts. I'm not gonna, it was kind of a pat on the back, but at the same time, it did kind of, it was like a jab in my bladder. It was a fucking jab that hurt because what happened was they're not looking at how hard my guys work. I know under the numbers that they work, right? I know the time that they put in. I know how many outbounds they do. I know, how they manage their day, because I'm assisting them in doing that. I'm taking the time to share with them what works, who to go to, what path to use, so they understand the system, and they just got good attitudes. They got a good work ethic. My team's created this atmosphere, this bond, this energy that no other team has, and I'm confident about that. I know that for sure. And I think just similar to like a gang or street gang, or even a dance group, or any group that you had with fraternity, any clique that you could think of, right? Any unit that you could think of, the desire and the motivation to win becomes stronger when it's for a reason that's bigger than yourself. It's for a reason of your team. It's for a reason of your squad, your camp, your family, your fraternity, your street gang, your dance group, whatever group you represent. It becomes bigger than you. And that's what I've done with my team. I've simply showed them that I'm equal to them. I'm a salesman to them. I don't walk around with the sales manager badge and shit and say I'm better than you. Hey, you better listen to me. Ask anyone on my team, and they'll tell you I'm grinding right with them. And it bothers me to see that some agents will opt to choose to blame, and then ultimately end up going down a dark road and dark path where they just don't get it. And what happens is they'll end up leaving and going to another employer, another lender, and then again come up with the excuse, oh man, their favorite, oh they're not giving me any of the good leads, right? And then they'll leave that place and then go start another place, and then end up finding out that, oh man, they're giving them better leads. And what happens is that individual, that person, I'm so glad I made this adjustment, because I would have been like that too. I'm so happy that I didn't go down that path, because I would have never realized that it starts with me. I would have never improved as a salesman and realized that I got to stop blaming people. I got to stop putting blame and pointing fingers at people. I got to start being a thermometer. I got to start being a thermostat, not a thermometer. And the reason why I said this, because I read that in the book. There's a really good analogy, and I think it applies now. And I just learned it. So thermostat, right? When you become a thermostat versus a thermometer, like the person blaming, the leads, or blaming, certain favorite agents or salespeople get the best leads, is because what they're doing is they're just being a thermometer. And so when you think of a thermometer, what does it do? It's just there, right? It's kind of just on the wall. Not really, it doesn't make any movement. And what it does is it tells you what temperature it is in the room, right? Whereas a thermostat is the one making noise. A thermostat is the one that's making moves, like the little engine inside, right? Like you just hear it's and that's the thermostat. And so what a thermostat does is it changes the temperature. It actually makes the energy in the room. It makes the temperature. Whereas a thermostat is quiet. It's just there, right? People will look at you just to see what kind of temperature there is, but nothing more. And that was a good analogy to me, because it's very similar. You can't sit there and blame everything but yourself. You got to take responsibility. And so if you ever find yourself saying, like, why do these people get the favorite leads? What you got to do is say, hey, how can I get in that position where I get those leads, right? And when you come at it that way and you change your perspective from why not to how come, right? It's just a slight adjustment. And when I made that small adjustment, that's what changed the course of my career. It's what changed the course of my life, because I started looking deeper into the reason why. I started looking deeper into the why of that situation, the deeper to the why of why I'm in this industry, or why I'm doing what I'm doing, or why I'm working so hard. But more importantly, I came to this why, and this is what really changed the course of my career. It was why I do what I do, right? And why I want it so bad. Why? Right? And everyone you might ask yourself that right now and say, well, Daniel, I just want money in the bank. Well, great. Why? So I want money in the bank so I could buy a house. Well, why? I want a house so I can have my family inside, a good neighborhood. Why? Because I grew up from a bad neighborhood. Why? Right? And you'll notice that every single time it has to do with either love or status, right? So it's always fear, love, or status. Those are the three main motivating factors, and you just need to find out what's motivating you. And what happens is If you don't take the time to do that, you'll end up like that person who's blaming everyone but themselves as to why they're winning and we're not. But don't do that. So I'll see you in the next video. If this is your first time watching, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment below and let me know if this video has been helpful, if this has helped you. And yeah, bye.